everybody, and welcome to another edition of Travel Talk, the Flight Attendant edition, where I tell you some stories from my time as a flight attendant. This one I'm going to tell you on location in New York, because this is a story that kind of happened, pretty much happened to me in New York, and it's one of the crazier things I went through on a layover. So here's the story. I get called for a last-minute flight out to New York, and we're just doing an overnight. We're just flying to New York one leg, stay overnight, and we're gonna fly back in the morning. And we're supposed to get our usual standard rest. There's a bunch of three of us who got called out on reserve, and we're just flying this leg, one leg out, sleep, come back in the morning. So we leave on time to New York. We arrive in New York on time, and we check in, or we go to check into our hotel at the DoubleTree at LaGuardia. Pretty short, just a couple of minute ride from the airport. So we go to check in, the pilots get checked in, we go to the front desk, we go to check in. They say, we don't have any rooms for you guys. They don't have any rooms for the flight attendants. They said, we're booked and we don't have any rooms available for you. And usually, how the airlines cover the hotels is they basically have a contract, so there's always X number of rooms available for pilots and flight attendants, and they reserve those. If they need more, they either coordinate with the hotel to add more, or they get something equivalent in the area. For short layovers, they just get something at the nearest airport hotel kind of thing. If it's a long enough layover, I think that was like 11, 12 hours or more, had to be in a downtown-like hotel. So it had to be something with things around food or places to go. It had to be some sort of a busy environment. In this case, it was just supposed to be a short layover, just going to be an airport hotel. So the DoubleTree says, we don't have room, we don't know what to do with you. We called scheduling. Pre-scheduling usually handles these sort of things. We said, what do you want us to do? They said, well, there's nothing at the airport. We've already had some problems, and we are not going to be able to put you up at the airport. We're going to have to send you downtown into Manhattan. So we're going, okay, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We're supposed to leave at like 7 in the morning or so, rush hour. So we're thinking this is going to be terrible because we're not going to get a whole lot of time before we have to hit traffic and go back to the airport in the morning. But okay, whatever. So we catch the airport shuttle back to LaGuardia and start trying to hunt down an agent, because the agent is going to give us a cab voucher to go into the city. Well, the flight arrived about an hour ago and we cannot find an agent. They're not out and about anymore. But after a lot of searching and wandering around and asking questions, we finally got a hold of an agent. The agent wrote us a cab voucher, said you're going to be staying at the Holiday Inn somewhere here in Manhattan. So we get in the cab and we tell him this is where we're going. He says, yeah, I know where that is, no problem. So he takes us in. Now we landed at about 8:30, and now it is more like 9:30, 10. And we're catching this cab back into Manhattan so that we can actually find our place to stay. So we get to the hotel and we exit the cab and we walk in. We're like, wow, this is a really beautiful Holiday Inn. This is a step up from some of the places we stay. This is a very nice one. So it's wow, this is great. We're gonna, there's been a mistake and we've had a little bit of hassle, but we're here now in a very nice hotel. We walk up to the front desk and we tell them we're with the airline and it's been called ahead, and they said, we don't know anything about it. So it turns out our cab driver, who knew where we were going, and he knew the hotel we were thinking of, he dropped us off at the wrong Holiday Inn. So we call back to scheduling and say, well, okay, now where is the one we're supposed to be going to? They reconfirmed the address of the Holiday Inn. We checked with the one we're at now, and they said, okay, that's about 8 or 9 blocks that way. And so do you want to call a cab? We said, no, because we weren't going to have a voucher. None of us had a bunch of cash to pay for a cab. So we'll just walk it. So we drag our bags, heading up the street. Now we're looking at it's like 10:30 to 11, 11:30.
So you look at that.
So we're dragging our bags up the street, late at night, and we're kind of laughing, thinking this is just a disaster. When are we going to finally land? And we're supposed to have our minimum 8 hours of rest, which we haven't started yet because we're still not at a hotel. So we end up we finally, after walking 8 blocks up and a couple blocks over, we start to approach the real Holiday Inn, the one we're staying at. So we approach the Holiday Inn and we see a lot of windows open and drapes blowing. This is in the summer. This is like June, July. So we approach it, we notice the windows open, there's drapes billowing out, and oh, this can't be good. What's going on here? So we get inside the lobby and we talk to the front desk, and they said, well, we got 2 problems. One, we're overbooked already. We have a bunch of groups here sitting in the lobby now. We're trying to figure out what to do with it because we're overbooked. So we don't have rooms for you. No! So, okay. What's the other issue? There's no air conditioning in the hotel. There's no air conditioning, and there are no rooms. So once again, we're figuring, what the hell do we do? At this point, we're saying, you know, we'll just sleep here in the lobby. We'll just lay on one of these couches, wake us up when it's time to go. We just want to land. We just want to get some sleep. So we call scheduling. They don't know what to do. They say it's the hotel's problem. We talk to the people at the hotel. They say, we don't know what's going on. You need to call your crew scheduling. So we're going back and forth, and nobody's really helping us. And we're wondering, well, when are we going to leave? Because we're supposed to be on this flight departing at like 7:30, and now it's after midnight. We're not getting our 8 hours minimum rest, so that's going to be a problem. So we end up, after, it was probably like an hour and a half or so. I mean, it was a long time we were waiting in the lobby, talking between the hotel and crew scheduling, trying to get something figured out. And it was a cluster, a real cluster. But finally they said, okay, we've located another hotel. You're going to be staying at the hotel whatever. And we've called a cab for you. We're going to pay for the cab to take you to the next hotel. So we wait and waited and waited. Finally a cab shows up. And the cab shows up and takes us to the other hotel. We're like, you sure you know which one and where this is? Because we've been going all over the place tonight. But finally, after about a 10-minute drive, he finally takes us to the hotel. They say, yes, we've been expecting you. So finally, we get to this hotel that we're supposed to be staying in. They actually have rooms for us. But this is now like 5 hours. I mean, we landed at 8:30. And at the time we arrive at the other hotel, at the final hotel, it is now pushing 2 o'clock. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's been a really, really long journey to get there. So we check in, we get our room keys, usually go up. We all kind of usually check on each other's rooms, make sure everybody's in where they're supposed to be, settled, and everybody gets in okay, secure. And 2 of our keys don't work. So now we're up on a high floor at this hotel. Been doing this all night. And we all, because we all want to make sure we're secure. We all want to check in on each other. So once again, we head back down to the lobby. And this time, at least, it was a quick fix. They swiped the things again, gave us keys that actually worked. So by the time we actually landed, each of us in our hotel rooms, it was about 2:15, 2:20 in the morning. And that is, that's almost 6 hours after we landed. It was crazy how long all of this took to hit all these different hotels, try and figure out what was going on. I'd never encountered anything like that, except this particular time. So we finally got into the hotel, and I said, look, I'm going to call crew scheduling, because we're supposed to work this flight at 7:30. You're supposed to get your FAA required 8 hours. And I said, we're not getting that. We're only, for a 7:30 flight picked up from Manhattan, our assigned pickup time would be like 6:15 or so in the morning. It's 2:30. we're only going to get about 4 hours before our pickup is scheduled. So called crew schedule, he explained the situation, said we did not land in a hotel until just a few minutes ago, so there's no way we're working the flight out in the morning. Luckily, crew scheduling agreed, did not give us any hassle over it, and they said, look, you're going to be on this flight, a flight leaving at like 11, and you're not going to be working now, and you'll just be riding back. We call it deadheading, basically just riding on the airplane back, positioning back to our base. We were all off the next day. That was our last day on call, so once we got released, we were going to be okay to go. So we just decided we're going to get up in the morning, go walk around, and so we ended up being relatively close to Central Park, and so in the morning we all kind of agreed we get up just a little bit early so that we could all go out and get some pastries and get a little something to eat, walk around Central Park for like a half hour or so before we had to catch the van. Ended up catching the van, we got the plane back and just had to ride back, which was great. But that's the story. That's the crazy story of when I came to New York and we could not find a hotel, and every hotel they did find us was oversold. It was a very crazy evening. We all got the three of us flight attendants were kind of laughing, saying if we were brand new, we'd probably just call mom and dad and go home or something. All of us were either a little older and had been flying for a little while, so it didn't freak us out all that much, but it was hilarious, and yet I don't know, annoying and crazy at the same time. It was something else. So that's the story for today. We'll be talking about more flight attendant stories at some point in the near future. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with some of those, as well as some of the other travel adventures we have. So thanks for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, comment below. Have you ever had to chase down 4 or 5 hotels in a night before you were able to land somewhere? So remember, kids, have a good time all the time.